boat.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Friday edition of the King's Court. We're going to lead you into the Grant Napier Show, 3 o'clock here at Fox Sports Radio, coming to you live from my home away from home. This is my world. I wish I could show you around. It's pretty cool. Got a couple TVs up here, a couple monitors there. It's kind of like a partial haunted horse setup. That's really what it is. So we'll get into the Kings and the Blazers here in a little bit. Football last night. Holy moly. I haven't seen Brian Dable move that quick in the last 18 months. When Jackson Dart went into the tent. How about that? I want to start here, though. If you've been with the King's Court for a little bit, then you're going to get this conversation. Yes, the coffee is hot. It's very hot and delicious. If you've been with the King's Court for a minute, you're going to understand where I'm going here. Hello, my name's Ryan. I had a relapse. Today, the 10th of October, in about 23 minutes, will be when my son was born 11 years ago. So what do you do on the kid's birthday? You go all out. You surprise him with little things he's not expecting. And they don't have to be big things, just small things to let you know that you're thinking about him. So what's Rhino do this morning? Rhino hops into the car about 6:15, gets on 99, past Calvine, past, what's the next one? Mac, and gets to Florin. Some of you might know where I'm headed right now. Go right off the freeway, cruising past Burlington on my left, Old Florin Mall on my left, and there it is. The Mecca of crack. Krispy Kreme donuts. Yes. And it is not cheap, by the way. It's 6:30 in the morning, and you can see the conveyor going. You just see all of the maple glaze pouring onto these hot donuts, right? And I figured it out. Krispy Kreme is like a club. That's what they are. Krispy Kreme is like a club that charges a massive entry fee, a door fee. Doesn't matter if you have a girl with you. Doesn't matter if you have multiple girls with you. You're still paying the cover charge. You know what the cover charge is? It's $14 for 6 donuts. That's the cover charge. That's the price to admission. Do you know what they do after that? Here's what they do. Would you like to make it 12 for $2 more? Now, mind you, the dozen is $20. So you're saving $4. And now I'm thinking, holy crap, I'm going to have 12 of these in my house? Remember the last time this summer that I went to Krispy Kreme? I got them for the kids at the swim party. I did not eat a single one. Didn't touch them. So I upgrade. to the 12, thinking, all right, little man will have donuts through the weekend, right? Can I get a large coffee? Sure. With that large coffee, you now qualify to get an additional dozen donuts for $2. What? So I am now paying, if I get the additional dozen donuts, pretty much the price of 1 dozen and the coffee. And the single donut on top of that I bought for my son because he loves the chocolate with the sprinkles. And now I'm getting the cold sweats. I have 24 hot, fresh, glazed donuts, hot to the touch, in my car. The only thing that kept me from busting into that box is getting that glaze on my seats or my steering wheel. When I had 24 of those in my possession, I immediately knew I was not going to be able to resist. I knew I was hitting one of them. Had to hit one. So I waited, made my son's lunch, got through my cup of coffee, and about 15 minutes before taking him to school, I gave in. I hit 3/4 of that donut, and I gave the other quarter to my son. I was embarrassed. Like, I went to a corner of the house where nobody would see me. I made sure the wife was in the extra area. She was in the master bathroom area, the master bedroom. So she didn't see me hand that quarter donut over to my son. And I immediately knew there is no way that another 12 donuts can be in this house. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get my son to school without crushing that additional 12 donuts that we got for $2. So what did I do? What do y'all think I did? What do you think I did? I want to get your reaction to that. What do you think I did with those other 12 donuts? Now, mind you, there is still 11 donuts sitting in the house. But there's no way that there could be 23 donuts in that house. No way. So what do you think I did? How's everybody doing? We're going to take our first call. I'm good with it. We got Tay on the line. We'll get to the comments here in a second. By the way, we've got video from yesterday at practice. Got Doug Christie, Malik Monk, and also a guy that a lot of people are talking about right now, Dylan Cardwell. We're leading you into Grant today at 3 o'clock here at Fox Sports Radio. Yes, Daniel, I am in the studio, dude. I am doing the show from the studio. So that way I can just lead you right into Grant. Seamless transition. Hop over to your app. Download the Fox KSAC app. Free Google Play, Apple Store. All right, let's get to the phones. Let's go to, and by the way, pick up the phones today. Call the show. Not this show right now. Grant Show, 916-779-0929. Let's get to Tay. Tay, what's going on, man?
Hey, Rhino, how you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Good. But my guess is, did you give some of the leftovers to Grant, or is that a wild guess?
So that was the first thing that I said I was going to do. Because when the wife saw me walk in with 2 boxes of donuts, her face was like white. Like, no, you didn't. Like, really? You don't have that self-control? I'm like, wait, let me tell you how this goes down. So I did tell her I was going to bring the other dozen into the station, but I did not. Good guess, though. Very good guess.
Yeah, I always wonder, and I think NBA players love donuts too, because I mean, there's a saying they always ask the rookies to bring box of donuts onto the planes or practice. But obviously, they burn through a couple thousand calories a day, so they might, be less prone to, dangerous effects of it. Um,
Yeah, the LeBron team, the original LeBron Cleveland team, the rookies had to bring Krispy
that's
Kremes
right.
onto the
Yeah.
plane. There's famous audio, Delonte West. You better have my Krispy Kremes or
Yep,
something
that's
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um, I know it's already preseason. It's only preseason, and sorry if you guys covered this yesterday. But did you hear Doug's comment after the first game? How he says that there's 164 games in his mind, and
Yeah.
the 82 is the wins or loss column. The other 82 is an imaginary. Did we play Kings basketball or not? Um, that kind of bothered me a little bit. I think that is just such a word salad. What did you think of his comments on that? Because I never heard of that from any of the NBA coaches before. You know.
I was not bothered by the 164. The only thing that really caught my attention, well, actually, two things. The first was on media day. He said he would like Keegan to shoot 10 threes a game.
Mhm.
And I've been thinking Doug probably would walk that back if we asked him again. And after the game, he again said 10 threes for Keegan. The other two numbers that bothered me because I don't think they're realistic is he wants the Kings to be picking up 85% of the time, 94 feet, 85% of the time. And he said the Kings only did it for about 30%. And that was, don't quote me, I believe that was the unit that came in the fourth quarter that went on the run.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. First of all, Keegan's, he's not a spot up shooter. Sure, he, shot 42% from his rookie year, but we have seen that, decrease over the last 3 years, whether it's him playing more defense or not. Regardless, the numbers show that he has regressed in terms of shooting. So I don't think it makes sense for Doug to think that, Keegan should be shooting 10 threes a game. That's not his game. Um, maybe Doug meant to say that he wants Keegan to be more aggressive. That he could have said it that way. Um, and then I agree with you. Picking up all 85 feet. I think for that to happen, you guys mentioned it yesterday too. The Kings have to not miss free throws and also make more shots than miss shots. Otherwise, it's a live ball situation. Um, I think another thing I picked up from the first game against the Raptors is they still haven't addressed the need for a athletic uh, three or four besides Keegan to be able to guard the opposing athletic players. We saw like Ingram have a feast. He always did against the Kings. The rookie Colin Murray Boyles was a very physical player. He gave Kings some fits. Again, just a preseason, but I think it's a good indication of Kings continuing to lack perimeter defense. I think even tonight is going to be a good indication against the players like Shaden Sharp, Klingon, Avdia, Tumani Kamara. These are all very athletic players that the Blazers have. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how much, you know, are we going to see same amount of defensive deficiency against these long athletic players like the Raptors and the Blazers are going to show, assuming that the Blazers plays their plays the players that I just mentioned.
Yeah, it starts. So let me address a couple of those things. Doug said he wants Keegan to be a shot hunter, which I'm
Mm.
good with. And I
Yeah,
thought Keegan was that in the first quarter, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Um,
he was
10
aggressive
is
too.
just, yeah, I think the number 10 comes from Doug's, and that's in a perfect world where the Kings are picking up 85% of the time. Because if you're doing that and you're playing at a high pace and you're the best conditioned team in the league, then you're going to get more shots. But 6 to 8 is really what I think is realistic for Keegan as the season goes along. And I appreciate Doug coming out and saying those things about Keegan and making a point that they want to make him a focal point of the game, because this is such an important year, both for his development and also the decision on him. Does he want to stay in Sacramento? Will the Kings keep him? I think absolutely he's going to stay here, but you got to give him a bigger role. And in fact, I asked him, because at Media Day, he said this summer, it's the first summer he got out of Sacramento, and he said he started to catch a flow throughout the summer.
I see.
And was really liking how the shot was feeling. And so I followed up. It was probably 3-4. The next time we had media availability with Keegan, I asked him, I said, Keegan, what goes into you catching a flow besides seeing the ball go through the hoop? And what it came down to was not literally verbatim, and there was more to it, but not touching the ball for 5 minutes makes it hard to get in a flow. He literally said that. And how long have we been saying that? To your point about the defense, it's the on-ball defense. It's where it starts, because with the long 3-4 that the Kings need, or even a backup center, the Kings are aware that size is an issue for them, which is why I think they're trying to go more speed-oriented. But the size doesn't matter if your guards cannot stay in front of the ball handler. If you can't do that, then everybody's in rotation, and there's going to be a wide open three. And that's what we saw through pretty much 2.5 quarters out of the first 3 the other night in their opener.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a preseason, if it was because of preseason, but did DeMar and Domas, did they look a little bit a step slower to you than last season? Again, they might not
No,
have been taking it seriously, but they looked a little bit slower, a step slower, like a subtle step slower. But that does make a difference.
I didn't think either of them did.
Mm.
From where I was watching, I've been at practice. I think they both look good, especially with DeMar going into year 17. Keep an eye. Did you watch the entire game, Tay?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Keep an eye on the development of Dylan Cardwell. We're going to hear from him here in a little bit. He played really well in the fourth quarter. He's a two-way guy right now for the Kings, but he has a very impressive NBA body. He's 6'11". He has that SEC body because he came from Auburn, coached under Bruce Pearl. If he can get a little bit more girth to him without affecting his athleticism, you might have something in this kid. And everybody in the building, including Doug Christie, has gone out of their way to say how much, at least the people that are the core of this team have gone out of their way to say how much they like playing with him and having him on the floor. So that is not an immediate answer for length and athleticism at the 4, but it's something to keep your eye on. Hey, Tay, thanks for the call, brother.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Have a great day.
Yep, appreciate you. Good stuff from Tay. If you want to call as well, you can just hit the link. I'll put it in the chat. Also, you can scan the QR code that is on the screen. Why don't we listen to what Doug Christie had to say? This was yesterday after practice.
How do you, when you go back and look at last night, do you give it the same kind of critical eye that you might during the regular season, or do you not because it's a preseason game?
Well, it's more about habits right now. So you're looking at it, but I was coming in with the same energy if we'd have lost by 15 or won by 15. We're building, and when you're building, you gotta look at what you're doing and you gotta correct it. And that's really what we're doing more than anything is going, looking at the film. What are we doing? What drills do we need to continue on? What parts of the habits that we're trying to break have they not got yet?
Last night you mentioned communication might have been one of the things you could clean up. Did you see that on film as
Yeah,
well?
absolutely. There was sometimes when two smalls were coming together and they were supposed to red, which means switch, and they didn't. It was clearly communication because as my guy's coming, I gotta let you know, here he comes, red, 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 red. And when you do that and you speak with your outside voice, all of a sudden good things happen. But when you don't communicate and you just expect each other knows it, then all of a sudden two guys go with one guy and Ingram is shooting a wide open three.
Switching a lot more last night. How do you think that plays into your guys' personnel?
No, I don't think we've been here since I got here. 1 through 4 is, switching 1 through 4, 1 through 5 is 1 through 5, 1 through 3. There's nothing different than we've done in the past. Do I want to stay with our own as much as possible? Doesn't always happen, but understanding that if I get screened, you should probably be there to help me. So, no more than normal.
Coach.
Kings had 11 blocked shots last night. What do you think about that part of the game?
Some of those were contests from behind and different things. It's not like it's good, but that's not like the super part of our game that we're just like, we're shot blockers. We're not that. That was just happened to be guys were making second efforts and those type of things. From that standpoint, I thought it was really good.
Coach, 14 free throws in the first half, 12 in the third quarter. After watching the film, what did you like about the physicality and getting the Raptors into the penalty early?
Well, I think that we have to play downhill. We didn't get to the paint as much, and I think part of that habitual, again, is running plays as opposed to playing. So when we go DHO, which we call bounce, when we go that to the corner and I get the ball, I need to turn the corner. If I run into somebody, okay, I bump it out. Now I swing it. If I pitch it at the top, I got to turn the corner. I think many times we're just ships passing in the night, and it's just unacceptable. In the third quarter, when we got aggressive, we started getting downhill, we started putting pressure on their defense, and they called some fouls. All of a sudden, we got to the free throw line. We just have to do that consistently at a higher level.
Blazers team's another team with good size and length.
Yep.
What do you look at in this next preseason game?
Really, I thought this first preseason game was about as perfect for us as we can get because based upon the things that we were focusing on and what we want to do, you don't face teams like that often. Spectacular for us. And, that's a quiz. Some people pass at a high level, some not. That's totally okay. Goes with the coaches as well. Now, we look at this next game, very similar. So can we come out and get small wins? What we want to do is we want to win the first quarter. We want to keep them to under 30 points. Let's start there.
You mentioned with only 4 preseason games, it's not a lot. You guys just play 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you have the same approach playing the starters? Or do you envision anybody sitting? Or
no, most likely just continue to bring them along. That by the time that we get the first game, hopefully we're at about what we want to see. But there's still some things that have to work their way out, and that's a work in progress. There is no magic potion for how you do that. Some guys don't play that much in the preseason and play great. Some guys play 16, 18 minutes in the first game, and by the last game they've kind of worked their way into it and they don't play in the last game. So it just depends.
Along those lines, is there any with these remaining 3 exhibitions, is there such thing as a true dress rehearsal from what you want to see in maybe one of these contests?
In every game there's a dress rehearsal. For our pregame routine, we're starting to dress rehearse, let's get it as close to what they're going to feel when they come in at 35 and how it feels when we're watching film when we're done. It's a step-by-step process. Same goes with shoot-around. What shoot-around feel like? First game, there were some things that we had to do in shoot-around that we won't normally have to do, and hopefully as we go forward we'll lose those things, so by the last game we get to your basic shoot-around so they can feel what it feels like. But that goes from every aspect of our organization. It's not just from stepping out on the floor and playing.
Did you get a sense of the crowd, 16,000 people, what it means for them to have another season of Kings basketball?
Well, our fans are the best in the business. So for them, just watching them file back in the building is a super exciting thing. Now we need to deliver to them what they expect to come see. That's probably the most important thing for me.
Dylan just said if anybody messes with Zach, he's going to make sure that they feel it. How much do you like having that mindset on your team?
That's my guy.
Thanks, Doug.
So there was Coach Christie. Anything you take from that? Anything? All right. Put it in the chat. One thing I do want to get to today, if we can, not sure if anybody saw this, the NBA general manager poll is out for this season. So interesting read there. Not really any huge surprises, but might be surprising to you. Might be able to get to it. Zach says, Rhino, here's why I'm so down on the team the last 5 years. Our 3-point D, 3 and D, 3-point D and D generally is absolutely dreadful. And the first preseason game opportunity to show some improvement, we were atrocious. Yeah, you know what? You can't put too much into one game. Dennis Schroeder did not play well. He didn't. But Grant and I talked about it yesterday. If there was one thing, like if we made a list from 10 to 1, what would be the worst thing this fan base would want to see besides an injury in the first preseason game? We both agreed. It would be 100% what you're talking about right now. The 3-point defense. The 3-point defense, you know what? I actually don't remember. If somebody wants to look it up, where was the Beam team at the end of the season guarding the 3-point line? I'm curious about that. We know where the Kings have been the last 2 years, although last year it began to drop when Doug took over and then it went back up. So we can, if somebody wants to throw that in chat, I would be very grateful for that. Dennis, you're going third person. Dennis, third person. Do you smell what Dennis is cooking? Interesting. I'm not sure I want to smell what you're cooking, my man. Dennis, you kind of seem like the coworker that doesn't really care what anybody else thinks. So microwaving broccoli, fish, not a problem to you. In fact, probably like the smell. The rest of your coworkers are running. I love Dennis. Jeez. What are you going to do with this guy? Let's see. Okay, so you guys are going for the number 1, number 2. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, the Kings made a couple of transactions today. Nothing notable. It's for Stockton. So we didn't mention it on the show yesterday, but I was kind of, well, you knew it was going to happen. Dexter Dennis was released yesterday. Big part of the Stockton Kings championship team. Love Dexter. Best wishes to him. Maybe Sacramento can get him on Stockton if there's not another opportunity for him. Let's see. Dennis is always getting a lot of run in the chat. At this point, I'm not really listening or hearing to what Doug has to say or what Mike Brown had to say. I want to see it on the court translating to wins. I just want to see it translate. Now, certainly, I want to see this team win, but I want to see progress. Can we just start seeing progress? I'll take progress. We all know where the bar is set for this team this year. It's not through the roof. Show me progress. And it's not fair to say that there hasn't been progress. We've only seen them one time. You see him again tonight against Portland. Looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure we will be doing post-game coverage on that. I will let you know. By the way, I started the show talking about the donuts. I'll give you the answer to what I did. We pick up one of Liam's best friends who lives across the street. We do this carpool thing for school. I sent that kid in with 12 donuts. I said, take these to your parents right now. I cannot have them in my house. So they went to another family. I couldn't even have them in the house long enough to get them to work. That's what's funny. That's what's super funny. Tristan, how many times is DC going to say unacceptable this year? Plus, minus 82?
That's a great question.
I'm not gonna bury Tristan. I love you, brother. You know this. I'm not gonna bury them yet. I'm not. We've seen one preseason game. Let's chill. Can we agree that Dennis Schroeder probably cannot play any worse? I'm here to talk about things like the rotation. That's the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. What's that going to look like? Is Doug going to change it tonight? Based on how the youngsters played. What about Neat Clifford? 9 assists and no turnovers? I think Neat Clifford is going to end up being your backup point guard. I do. Because in practice, and we only see what they allow us to see, but we hear from all the players, the coaches, that when they're doing their half-court drills, their full-court drills, they're picking up 94 feet. In some cases, it's DeMar DeRozan, it's Zach LaVine. What I'm saying is, if that is happening in practice, and I have no reason to believe it's not happening in practice, that is only going to help grow Neek's ability to bring the ball up the court. Because quite frankly, the only thing right now that I have questions about when it comes to Neek running the point guard is, can he handle the ball under pressure? I think that's the way this is going to line up. I really do. And what about Max? It's an interesting battle that's going on that front line. Yesterday on the show with Grant, we talked about, Grant made a great point. He said, you got to have some battles in camp. You have to have some minutes up for grabs. And that's exactly what you have on the front line. We know it's Sabonis and Murray, and I'm going to leave the 3 out of the conversation right now. I'm going to keep it to the 4 and the 5. We know you have Sabonis and Murray, but what's after that? First substitution last game was Drew Eubanks. I thought, and you all were here, some of you were here on the show with me, I said Drew would probably be in that first 10-man rotation. I did not think he was going to be first off the bench. And anybody that's going to talk about foul trouble, it's a preseason game. If somebody fouls out in the first half, then they foul out in the first half. You have 3 more preseason games. They've got to get their looks. But you've got a battle between Drew, Max, and Isaac Jones, who for the rest of the show I am going to refer to as IJ. Grant doesn't like it when I do that. Have y'all noticed that? When I say IJ on the radio, he'll always go, that's Isaac Jones. If I say DHO on the radio, that's the dribble handoff. And he's right. Not everybody knows the basketball lingo. But what about that battle? And what about Dylan Cardwell? Or Cardwell, excuse me. You know, he gets 55 games with the team. Just like Isaac Jones last year. Had 55 games at the start of the season that he could play in the NBA for, because he's a two-way guy. Could Dylan do the same thing that IJ did last year and get a full contract? Maybe. I don't know. I do know, and I don't want to blow this out of proportion. I don't, because last year's camp, we heard a lot about how Coach Brown liked Terry Taylor. I love TT, by the way. We heard a lot about some of the other guys that were kind of that were two ways or not make. You knew they weren't going to make the roster. Like right now, Terrence Davis, he's not going to be on the roster. Guys like that, but we would hear their names once in a while. But I don't know. Like, I usually have a pretty good radar for these things, especially with the way that I've covered Stockton the last few years. My radar is really up about Dylan Cardwell. I think Dylan Cardwell is going to be such a fascinating story to cover this season, because he does bring something that the others do not. And he's coachable. Doug saw something watching the film from a practice, and he pulled aside Dylan's player development coach and showed him the film and said, I want you to show this to Dylan. We got to get this fixed. His player development coach showed it to him. Next practice, it was fixed. Not just like one time, it was fixed. And that Doug really liked that. So he's coachable. He's moldable. There's something to say about playing for Bruce Pearl and playing in the SEC. There really is. Now, again, don't want to make too much out of this kid right now. He's not the next coming, but I think he could, with his work ethic, with his body, and with his size, he's 6'11". I would tell you he is built similar to Keegan Murray, a little bit leaner than Keegan, but far more explosive. And Keegan's bounce has gotten much better each offseason. Much better. So, something to track. We'll hear from Dylan here in a few minutes. Let's get back to the comments. You gotta love broccoli and fish, cabbage. Is this the conversation we're going to? Hey, Tristan, guess who I heard from before the show started? See if Tristan can guess this. It's not a person specifically. It is an entity. But guess who I heard back from before the show, Tristan? Just saw it before the show and responded. And probably going to have somebody next week from that entity. Who do you think? What do you think it is, Tristan? Holler at me. Purple cabbage. Flores. Going to be eating healthy this season with all this world. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Okay. I'm around. I've been at every practice. Anything that's been open to the media, I have been at. And I don't feel like you're getting a ton of word salad. Or at least I don't think you're getting any more than you did last year from Mike Brown. There was something in the GM survey that surprised me that has to do with Mike Brown. Maybe we'll get there. It's funny, Flores. You had me going. Like, I'm thinking, oh, Flores is getting on a diet. Good for him. Gonna say, like, Flores, ever since, Grant and I made the transition to Fox and still doing the channel, now that it's King season, I don't have a lot of time. So I don't want to eat healthy. You'd be so proud of me in the media room. I had a salad. I didn't go for the spaghetti and meatballs. I'm not going to tell you, unless you want a promo code and you're actually going to use it so it will benefit me too. I'm not going to tell you the meal service that I'm using that sends you prepared meals. Not the ones with the ingredients. They send you healthy prepared meals. It's actually worked out really well. Food's really good. Really good. But you had me going there. You almost took me down that route, Flores. Okay, I'll meet you in the middle. Here's where I'm going to meet you in the middle. What's worse than unacceptable, right? Is that kind of, as I move the screens over so I can read a little bit better, is that kind of your point? That, like, there's not anything Doug can say worse than unacceptable? Is that where you're coming from? So if you're thinking unacceptable is the worst and you've already heard it, you're panicking? Is that it? Okay, we're getting some quotes. Me too. You look, you're not going to see any identity in one game, especially a preseason game. Now, basketball isn't like football where you are really hiding whatever new wrinkles you've put in for the season during the preseason. But they're holding stuff back. Of course they are. Out of bounds plays, they're not running the new stuff. I would be shocked. That's not us. Okay. Let's do this. That's not us. We got to lock in. I have no problem with that. We left a lot out there. Effort gaps we can't afford. I have no problem with that. Not the standard we're building. We own that. And I'm guessing you mean need to elevate. What's the key word there, Dennis? What is the key word in that quote? Building. Okay, I'm not going to go through all these quotes from Dennis. Oh my gosh. Peter, thank you, brother. Howie Long movie quote. You the man, D. Good job, Peter. Thank you for the $2, brother. Appreciate you. Oh my gosh. Dennis, my man. Chill. No, it's not HH. Do not trust HH anywhere near something regulated by the FCC. Not a chance. Progressive, happy Friday. How you doing? You need to use unsatisfactory, substandard. Okay. All right. I cook a lot, Rhino, but I use hummus for my meals for lunch and Rosemary Farm to fork as well. Huh. Rosemary Farm to fork. Interesting. Never heard of it. Rosemary's is more expensive, and I am friends with Rose. So they get the food all the way from New York to you? Not that I'm saying I know where my food's coming from. It might be New York as well. But, like, you get that package every week? Dorian? With all the freezer packs? Or the ice packs inside? Huh. All right. Mine starts with an F. That's what mine starts with. Seen any hope of an interior defense of presence from this new Kings team? We were talking about Dylan Cardwell a little bit ago. In fact, you know what? Let's hear from Dylan really quick, since we have been talking about him. Here was Dylan yesterday. I asked him a question. He gave me such a great response too. It's awesome. It should be a hashtag. It needs to go on a shirt. Here's Dylan yesterday.
Hey, did you find Chapel? I saw you come into the locker room before the game. You looked for Chapel yesterday. You get there okay?
Yeah, I did. Yes, sir, I did. I'm a big believer in Christ. You know, first and foremost, all glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Let's try to get my head right before the game and just know that, you know, every time I step on the court, I'm representing Him.
Any specific passage or parable?
Yeah, he talked about really just exemplifying Him and how you walk, even in the secret life when you're not in front of the cameras. And that was really huge for me, because it's just like, how are we talking, you know, behind closed doors, how are we representing Christ, just not in front of the cameras, but just, you know, our day-to-day life, how we're treating people, you know, how we're treating our spouses, how we're treating our families, how we're treating our friends. And yeah, just being a good steward of the things the Lord has blessed us with.
Was it kind of like a motivation for you, you know, to go out there and show what you can do last night?
It was definitely a reminder for sure for me, just knowing that every time I step on the court, I'm glorifying and representing Him.
Did you hear from a lot of family, friends? Got to see a couple moments from you last night?
Yeah, it was cool. It was real fun. You know, I'm actually in the Bible study with my old teammates at Auburn, and I missed our Bible study last night. And they sent a picture of me dunking this morning, so I let them know that, hey, I had a game last night, so I couldn't make it, so it was real fun to hear from them.
What did you make of that dunk?
Probably one of my best of my life right now, so definitely top 2. It's crazy.
You and your film from last night, just what were you satisfied with, what you were able to show?
Really just being physical, and that's why Doug likes me right now. So I'm trying to keep on Doug's good side by just being physical and being a force. My word of the year is relentless. Just being relentless each and every day, each and every possession. And whether it's 1 minute, 15 minutes, or 40 minutes, or however long I'm out on the court, make sure my team is going to play off.
Malik said you ask a lot of questions to these guys. How much are you leaning on the veterans for help here?
Yeah, you know, I'm just trying to learn. I enjoy, you know, being well prepared for my tests and well prepared for my opportunity. And, you know, we have a lot of old guys out here, a lot of unks, and so I try to learn from the unks.
Dylan, Zach LaVine spoke highly of you, said you're a guy he wants next to him and somewhat of an enforcer. Is that a role that you embrace? We saw a little bit of it last night.
I enjoy physicality. I came from the SEC. You know, that's where legends are made. You know what I'm saying? Legends are built. You know what I'm saying? You're not an SEC build, I can't rock with you. So anyways, no, I'm just really physical, and that's what Bruce Pearl at Auburn really preached there. And so, you know, being here in Sacramento is the same thing. It's an easy job for me. You know, Zach's my boy. I love Zach to death. And if anybody fouls him this year, as long as Zach covers my fine, I will go to bat for Zach. But if Zach's not covering my fine, I might not be there.
So you played with Nick during Summer League, and I'm curious to get your perspective on like what you saw from him last night and those minutes playing with him.
Yeah, Nick makes me look 10 times better. I'll say that. Like, Nick is a very great facilitator. He gets downhill so much, and then his ability to get downhill and score for himself attracts the bigs, and then it just allows me to play behind the defense. And I just get easy dump offs because Nick's such a threat. So I really enjoy playing with Nick.
It only happened for a brief moment there. You played alongside Drew, though, as well. What's your impressions of how you fit playing that?
Yeah, Drew's an easy guy to play with. He's a communicator, he's an anchor, and so I try to pride myself being an anchor as well. But I mean, he talks to everybody through everything. He's a great leader, great team leader, humble servant. I appreciate Drew. I appreciate Drew a lot. He leads by example a whole lot.
You mentioned Bruce Pearl there. Just what kind of mentor, coaching figure, maybe beyond that?
I mean, he really just taught me a lot about, you know, being a professional at the things that I'm good at, and kind of just specifying in that. You know, coming into college, I wanted to be something I wasn't. I wanted to be a scorer. I wanted to be the man. But, you know, being a superstar and all-star in my role and being a glue guy, you know, that's what separates guys to this next level. And so I love being the glue guy. You know, you need glue to keep things sticking together. So I enjoy being the glue. I look forward to being the glue here.
You credit him for really kind of embracing that type of role?
I really credit KT Harrell. That was my GA, graduate assistant, my freshman year. He was the one that told me my freshman year of college, and then over the years, the BP kind of emphasized that. But KT Harrell was the first person to ever tell me that.
Did you think that when you went there that they'd have that type of lasting impact on you?
No, not at all. And then just, I didn't know I would be there for 5 years, but you know, I became a man at Auburn, and now I'm excited just to be Auburn man. You know, first of all, just a man of the Lord first, but obviously Auburn man second. That's my life here.
You talked about like your work kind of being relentless. What enables you to play like that on a game in, game out basis? And what do you think that requires from a guy in the NBA?
Really just, kind of dying to yourself, dying to your pride, dying to your flesh, and in a sense where it's like, for me, all I know is that every game I give my best effort. That's enough. I don't have to go out here and be Zach LaVine or Dennis Schroeder or DeMontis Sabonis. All I got to do is go out here and give my best effort, be physical and rebound and make sure I'm defending. And that's all things I can control. I can't control whether I'm making a shot. I can't control whether I'm getting many points, but what I can control is my effort and my energy. And that's what I look forward to every single day.
Did that give you kind of a glimpse last night into what maybe the possibilities that could lie with this team?
Oh, yeah, most def. I mean, I just go out there and have fun. I have fun.
Thanks, Dylan. All right. Dylan Cardwell right there. Good looking prospect. Progressive at that position. Oh, wow. What's up, Clay? So glad I could catch another live show here in Prague. Look at that. Yes, sir. What's up, Clay? That's awesome. Love it. So, one thing I'm looking for tonight, really looking for tonight, besides wanting to see the starters play better, Dennis Schroeder play better, see a little bit more of what Doug's talking about. And unlike some of you, I am not expecting 85% of the possessions to be picked up 94 feet defensively. But I want to see a little more. I need to see a better version. I need to see a more aggressive team, especially with that starting unit. Now, Zach LaVine played really well last game. I need to see more from the offense. There's been a lot of talk about new wrinkles here and there. To me, there was too much just passing the ball around the perimeter. It almost looked like at times the Kings were operating against zone defense. So I want to see more when it comes to the pick and roll, the DHO. I believe Domas after the game said they took the DHO away. I would have to go back and watch the entire game, which I have not. But that would surprise me. So I want to see that improve. On a bright spot, I thought the pick and rolls, especially with guys not named Malik Monk as the ball handler, looked a lot better than last season. And lastly, I want to see what this front line, not only what this front line does against a Portland team who is one of the biggest in the league. Tumani Kamara, 6'8". Jeremy Grant, 6'8". Donovan Clingan, 7. Shaden Sharp, 6'6". Drew Holiday, 6'4". Denny Avia, 6'9". City Siasco, 6'7". Yang Hansen, 7'2". They're a big team. The Kings are a small team. So I want to see how they do. I also am very interested to see Doug's rotation on the front line. Will it be the same? Is it going to be Eubanks first off the bench? And then IJ? Quite frankly, I was surprised. I was super surprised. Last game, when the Kings put Max Reynaud in the fourth quarter. That surprised me because he had not played all game. Will Max crack that rotation? Who we just heard from right now, Dylan Cardwell. Is he going to get some run? I really want Dylan Cardwell to get some run in this game. Because athletically, I want to see what he can do against some of these bigger guys. Toronto's not that big, and the group that was on the floor in the fourth quarter was not that big. So how is Doug going to handle that rotation? Now, here's the other thing that we're not considering. How guys played on Wednesday may have zero bearing on Doug's rotation today. They only have 4 preseason games. Used to be 8, now it's 4. It's very possible that Doug scripted the rotations last game with the intention of scripting the opposite way for tonight's game in Portland. But I think there is enough around Dylan Cardwell right now that makes me think he's probably going to get some minutes. Or at least I hope he's going to get some minutes. But yeah, look at that roster. It's a big team. And this is a team, I didn't even mention Thibault or Robert Williams III. Yeah. This is a team that has been going through a rebuild. And to me, they have done one of the best jobs in the NBA. Outside of your reigning NBA champions. They had a plan when they traded Dame away. They already had prospects that they had been looking for, identified, wanted, done their due diligence. In the last 2 drafts, the Blazers went out and got those exact 2 players that they had already landed on before those players played their final games, or their first games, internationally and in college, respectfully. So Portland's coming. Trust me, they're coming. Dame, will he eventually get on the floor? We don't know, but I do know the impact having him around, both on the young guards, the entire team, and that fan base, it changes the equation completely. It energizes them. What are you looking for? Besides the obvious that we haven't already discussed tonight, is there something else you are looking for in tonight's game? I've been really surprised, though, at how many people are like, we're done. It's over. Not going to be the Kings year. Really surprised at that so far. Simon, gotta love Cardwell's attitude. Yeah, very balanced young man. 6th in the SEC in blocks last season. Had 6 blocks actually against Oklahoma. Now, it's college competition, but he can protect the rim. Like some of these guys, it's not, Cardwell hasn't even been in the Stockton program yet. Wait till the Kings, if the Kings continue developing players the way that they have the last 3 or 4 years, what you want to see come from this season is in a semblance of at least what you think can be an identity. And on top of that, a foundation that you have now identified as a group that you can build on for the future. Best case scenario, you see at the end of the year, dang, Neek's it. Neek's a really good player. And by the way, I've already said my bold prediction for this year, at first, before we even saw Summer League, I said Neek's going to play 20 or more minutes a game. Now I've gone to, throughout Summer League, seen him in practice. I know it took him a little bit to get comfortable on Wednesday, but it was his first NBA game. Got to give this guy a little grace. But I think Neek will get at least one vote for Rookie of the Year. And I think he will be a first-team All-Rookie this season. So let's say that happens. Let's say Max continues to develop. He's going to take his bumps. He's going to look good some nights, not so good other nights. Depending on what position the Kings play him at. I think he's more of a 4 right now. But let's say he comes along. You see that. And by the way, there is a very, very good chemistry with those two. Above the shoulders, I don't know that there's 2 smarter players that came out of the NBA draft this year, basketball IQ wise. Now, granted, they are older. Well, they're in the conversation. They're in the top 10. So I want to think about guys like VJ Edgecombe, Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg, according to some people, Brian Scalabrine, who's trained Cooper Flagg for a really long time, Scalabrine said he's never seen somebody that is such a quick learner. So anyways, back to the Kings and their foundation. Let's say you feel like those two can be a part of that you can build upon. Keegan Murray, certainly a piece, even though this fan base at times is split on him because you're only looking at half of the basketball floor. He is already a piece you can build on. And Keon Ellis. If you can see that with those 4, that's 4, theoretically, that can all be on the same, can be on the floor at the same time. That could be part of a future starting lineup. What about Isaac Jones? Does he progress? Dylan Cardwell. You still may or may not have Sabonis. If you see that foundation and you see the pieces of the puzzle coming together by the end of this season, not only are you going to be satisfied as a fan base because that means they played pretty well, doesn't mean they're going to win, but they played well. You get to see basketball like you saw in the 4th quarter on Wednesday. Then to me, that is a successful season. The West is a beast this year. A beast. By the way, to answer your question, Beam Team was, thank you, Zach, 24th. Okay. Yep, so not real great there either. Yep. Yep. No point in picking up full court with one player. Monk is one in particular that refuses to do it. Nobody on this team is refusing to do it right now, Simon. Here's the thing. They've said it. We've said it. You either have to be making hoops or getting to the free throw line and converting on that second free throw to be able to pick up full court. That's the nuance there. And here's the other nuance that you can't do. And we're going to hear from Malik here in a second. One, you can't get beat. But more importantly, because it leads to getting beat, you can't be reaching. You can't gamble. Because as soon as that guy gets a step on you, they are downhill. And now everybody's going to be in rotation. So you have to be fundamentally sound when you're picking up full court. Now, it's okay to gamble once, twice a game. After you've picked up some tendencies, maybe the assistant coaches have pointed something out to you, and you hold it in your back pocket for the right moment. We've seen those times. Like Domantas Sabonis, I believe it was last season. He waited on it until it was the most important possession of the game, and he jumped the passing lane. Got the steal, got the dunk. Kings go up. Rhino, do you have any idea why our perimeter defense continues to be so bad? Why can't we defend the three in an era where three-pointers matter more than anything? 100% you're not. It starts right at the point of attack, and that is guarding the ball. If you cannot guard the ball, that means your teammates have to come up and help. And when your teammates come up and help, that means they are leaving someone. Which means when that teammate comes up to help you, he needs to communicate with the person behind him to come help the man that he was guarding. And now you are called what's called in rotation. And somebody's open. And all of a sudden, the closeouts that Doug Christie's talking about, they don't matter because you're not closing out. You're running and trying to get a hand up. I want to make that distinction to some of you. There's a difference between running and getting a hand up and closing out. They are two completely different things. Closing out is when you are in the correct position. The ball handler has not beat the defender, so you're kind of hanging off your guy, man ball. You're paying attention to both. And if the ball comes to your side of the court and gets passed to the guy you are guarding, you're within 4 feet of him. That's when you're closing out. That's where your angles matter. That's where the fundamentals come into play. But what you saw on Wednesday night, especially with the starters in the first half and even in the third quarter, those weren't closeouts. They weren't, because everybody was in rotation defensively, and the communication, as Doug said, was not there. And during camp, at least the parts we've been allowed to see, communication's been good. It's got to translate to the games. And again, it's only a 1-game sample size. But it starts, I can't say this more clearly, and I know the organization has screamed this from the hilltops. This is why we went out and targeted Dennis Schroeder. So he can be the head of the snake, staying in front of his man, being tough, being chippy on the offensive side, being the quarterback, running the offense, getting the ball around. You didn't see those things on Wednesday night. I would expect you will see a different Dennis Schroeder tonight. 100%. And by the way, Clay, Brian Kelly thinks that was a great question.
That's a great question.
Long time no see. What's up, Matthew? My man. How do we play against a huge team like the Rockets? How about we play against a huge team like Portland tonight? And then we'll talk about the Rockets. This is a good time to get to Malik Monks. We're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes. Remember, Grant coming up 3 p.m. Fox Sports Radio here in Sacramento. If you haven't already, make sure you download the Fox Sports Sacramento app free in the Google Play Store, the Apple Store. Also, no geo boundaries on it. So if you're in Prague, you can listen to the show. If you're out of state, you can listen to the show. We would love to get your phone calls today, by the way. 916-779-0929. You can text that number as well. Top of the hour, the Grant Napier Show. I'm sure he's going to have plenty to say about last night, both the Phillies and the Dodgers. Thursday night football. How about his G-men? Brian Dable, Cam Scattaboo trying to interfere with concussion protocol. Be there. We'd love to have you. 3 p.m., 3 to 6 p.m. Grant will be here any minute. So make sure you join us at the top of the hour on Fox Sports Radio. Going to be a really fun show. Also, we will make our picks for the week, and you will have your opportunity to win a $100 gift card to Bennett's. How about that? $100 gift card to Bennett's. All you have to do is tweet us, and we'll put our picks on Twitter too. You can respond to that. Your 4 NFL picks against here's the key, against the DraftKings spread. Whoever has the best record will win a $100 gift card. Sack Girl has won one. Brian Cardicelli has won one. Brian, I got to give you a call. I'm sorry. It's been a busy week. Brian, I will try to call you today during the show. This gets to you. And Dennis has won one as well. And Dr. J has won one. So those are our first 4 winners. We'll announce last week's winner today during that segment. But for this week's games, week 6, all you got to do, pick 4 games against the DraftKings spread. Tweet them at us, and you will be entered into contention to win the gift card. All right, let's get to Malik Monk. He makes a promise to all of you tonight. This was Malik yesterday at practice.
Preseason game. Do you guys kind of fall victim to that a little bit too?
Hell no. Yeah. It's preseason. Yeah. Some of these people might not be here. Some of these people will be here. So it's not our full team. So yeah, you can't. One preseason game. We ain't even played together. This is our first game together as a whole group. So yeah, I'm not down.
When you talk about not hitting first, like when you guys wanted to, what is that? Like, is that just a mentality?
Yeah, a mentality. Picking up, touching on defense first. The same thing they do to us. We need to start doing that.
I guess my question is, like, why doesn't it happen?
Oh, no, I wish I knew. Okay.
Let me ask
it would be better if I knew.
But let me ask you this. Look for a better result tomorrow.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. I'll say that myself. I'll make sure we hit somebody first.
What were some of the things that Doug emphasized today?
Love that,
stop
Jake.
Over-helping. We was just doing some bad habits we caught on last few years. That's all we was doing. Over-helping. Reaching in the backcourt when we don't need to, and we can set our defense up. Crashing from the top of the key and need to get back. Things like that. It's just stuff that we can control too.
With the picking up 94 feet, how much does it help with it being a new thing you guys are doing to get that on film, be able to review it and clean that up?
Yeah, it's great. Especially how terrible we were at it yesterday. We can see all the terrible stuff and work on that. And I think that's what you want to do. That's why we got the preseason to work on the bad things. So yeah, it'll be better tomorrow.
Does this make it, with all the practice sessions you have when you come out of training camp and mix in preseason, do you feel like there's differences in the structure of how you approach it week to week? I mean, does it feel more like what you would see in the season?
No. Preseason is training camp. I think we'll start getting closer to season form when probably like a week away from the season. We still in training camp right now. We're still doing training camp things. We're still learning things. So yeah, we're not in game form. Not even close. Yeah.
What impressed you about what the young group did, right? Me, what Max did, that group, especially late in the fourth quarter?
I really wasn't impressed. I watched them in summer league. They were doing the same things. They've been doing the same things here since training camp. So it's just all the same things they've been doing, man. I'm not impressed. I'm happy. I knew that was gonna happen. So kudos to the young guys.
Malik,
talk about Dylan Cardwell. That he looked good out there.
Yeah, he did look good. He did look good. Yeah, he gonna be all right. He gonna be all right, and he likes to listen. He asks questions, wants to learn. So yeah, he'll be all right.
Malik, first road trip. What are the rookie duties this year? What are they wearing?
Oh, that's a good question. I ain't even thought about that. I still gotta get Dev popcorn in his car. Can y'all be quiet and not tell him? Yeah, we still gotta get him that. I don't got no rookie duties yet, but getting Devin is for sure one.
All right.
Yeah.
That's still a thing, huh? I mean, that's going on.
Yeah, we're gonna get him. Yeah.
Did anyone do it to you?
I had saran wrap around my car. Then I just had to go get a lot of food and stuff like that. It wasn't really crazy. Yeah.
Did you say the rule was it's the first game of their second year?
First game of the second year. Yeah, that's when it ends.
Okay.
That's when it ends. Yeah.
Thanks, Malik.
Thank you.
Thanks, Malik.
Yeah.
Playful as always, Malik Monk. He's promising that he will make sure that they hit first tonight. To answer a couple of last questions, yeah, you got to mix some sets in. Certainly love, J-Cal, that your dad's listening from the Philippines. The Stockton roster, they can't do their rosters or at least have final rosters until cuts are made in the NBA, because the Kings, if we don't include the reported signings today, and those will likely be released and turned into Stockton players, you don't finalize your roster until you know what's out there. So with the outside of your two-way guys, so the way that it works with the G League, just really quick, is outside of your 3 two-ways, none of the other players on your team are signed to the organization. They're actually signed to the G League, meaning any team could come swoop them up at any time. So those G League guys are not just playing for that team, they're playing for every team on film. And that's what's been so impressive about what Stockton has done the last couple years. Under Lindsey Harding, under Quentin Crawford last year winning the championship, both under Gabriel Harris, the GM, who's done a fabulous job down there. They got those teams running the same stuff the Kings are running. When guys go down to Stockton, they're not asked to go score 40 or 50 points. They're asked to do the things that they would normally do if they were on the Kings. They're getting live bullets. They're getting reps. They're getting looks. A lot of other G League teams just roll the ball out. That's what separated Stockton. They play with pace. In fact, if you have been to a Stockton Kings game, if you went to a Stockton Kings game last year, they played with better pace than the Kings. I'm serious. Every possession, pushing it. Whether it was Mace, John Elmore. So yeah, those rosters will be coming out after the NBA rosters are trimmed down and guys clear quote unquote waivers after you know that another team has not picked anybody else up. So that's the deal. All right, we're back on the radio today, 3 p.m. Join us. It's going to be a fun show. Friday show, lot to talk about. Make sure you give us a call. We would love to have you give us a call today, 916-779-0929. Hey, Tristan, are you still here? Tristan, are you still here? Let me know. before I wrap up. Right there, 104.7 if you want to listen on the FM. That's the best signal. Go FM. That's why we have FM. Or download the app. Make sure you do that. Free in the Google Play and Apple stores. No geo boundaries, no sign up. You're good to go. Listen to the show wherever you're at. Also, you can, if you can't catch the live show, the replay, full replays, the podcast is currently being hosted on Grant's channel. If you don't like that, that's temporary until the new Fox Wide platform that all Fox podcasts will be changing to is implemented. We are right smack in the middle of that process right now. So we'll let you know when that changes, and we will have a we'll try to get a special guest to make sure that y'all will get an exclusive over there. Make sure that you go over and subscribe, just like you. Hopefully, you're subscribed to Grant's podcast channel, and then also mine, the King's Court. All right, we are out the door. See if Tristan responded. Is Tristan still here? So Tristan, if you catch this on the back end, get this. Grant doesn't even know yet. We are going to have, tentatively, a WWE superstar on next week. Either Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, how about that? Grant's going to be like, what? I don't know anything about wrestling. It's okay, Grant. Grant, let me do the interview. Just, Grant, take the segment off. I'll handle it. But yes, we don't know who it is. But I got confirmation from WWE that we will have a superstar coming on with us to promote the San Jose event and also the Sacramento event on 10/20. So, all right. Will I be at a couple of Stockton Kings games? Yes, definitely. Definitely will. Absolutely. So, all right. We're back in just about 30 minutes. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a tremendous weekend. And yeah, I mean, we'll talk more. We're talking more in 30 minutes. See? Go get a cuppy. A cuppy? What's a cuppy? Go get a cup of coffee. Whatever you want. Take a break. Come right back with us. It's going to be a fun show. Ryan getting power slap into the table. Okay. So I've had the discussion with Grant. So I did tell him before I started contacting WWE. But I told him there is a decent amount of, you know what? I'm just going to flat out say it. There's a lot of wrestling fans in Sacramento. There really is. It's actually a good wrestling city. So he goes, well, you know, if there's a base for it, you know, like he's wondering if it's below like the standard on the show. And it's definitely not. I don't think it is at all. Not even close. WWE's on fire right now. So no, I don't think I'll get the power slap, but I do think I will be responsible for heavily. It's going to take me back to my state capitol days when I worked for Assembly member Anthony Portofino. Yes, the 44th District of California, Pasadena. And I had to brief him on the Transportation Committee. He was a member of the Transportation Committee. Portantino, excuse me, not Portofino. Portantino. So I will make sure Grant is briefed. Who do you think it's going to be? It's probably going to be a SmackDown superstar. Or maybe it won't. I got to think about that. It'll be fun. All right. Enjoy the game tonight. I am 99% sure we have post game tonight as well, right here on If You Don't Like That. So Make sure you come back to us. We'll break down the Kings and the Blazers. We'll talk more about it here at the top of the hour on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Love y'all. Be well. Be safe this weekend. And go Kings. Light the beam. Talk to you in about 30 minutes here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Come back tonight if you don't like that. The post-game show. Me and Grant. See you soon. Court is dismissed.